Good afternoon and welcome to the Board of Public Works and Safety, September 20th, 2021 Board of Works meeting. We'll rise with the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Brian Dobb.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pastor.
Let us pray. Oh God, we come to you this morning and we give you our praise and our thanksgiving because you are the great I am. You created us. You are over all things. You are in the center. And so, Lord, in this moment, I ask for any prayer concerns, anything that's on each person's heart, that you would hear those concerns, Lord, and be in those situations. Especially now, in this moment, during this meeting, Lord, I ask that the Holy Spirit be present, give wisdom for the greater good of our community, Lord God. For we desire to see Connorsville grow, our city grow, and become healthy. And Lord, we are just looking forward to what you have in store for us in the days to come. So Lord, we just thank you for all that you're going to do. And it is in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I'd like to welcome everyone. Please make sure your ringers are off on your phones, please. We will begin with roll call.
Brian Dobb.
Present.
Becky Gibson.
Present.
David Nutty.
Present.
Jim Barrett.
Here.
Okay, everyone has the minutes of the September 7th, 2021 regular meeting and the September 14th, 2021 special session. Are there any additions or corrections to those?
Motion to accept.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Move on down to new business. Becky Turney, was she out there?
Here.
Requesting permission to conduct a boot drive on October 16th and November 6th.
Yes, sir.
Come on up here, state your name and what you wanting to do.
Becky Turney, president of the Connorsville Quarterback Club, and we'd just like to have the three intersections for those 2 days, probably 9 in the morning till 2 in the afternoon. Be good hours for us. Just set a couple kids and a couple parents out, cut change the program.
Question?
Motion to approve request.
Second. Have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Make sure you get with Mr. Coulter back there. You know, make sure you have the safety apparel and everything you need to do and everything ready to go. And we had a good game Friday night
Yes, we
too,
did.
so
Yes, we did.
good timing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Kelly Mullins, is she out there? I can't see out there. I didn't see her coming in. Who's out there? Anybody? Clint moved on me. I don't see him. Okay, I don't see her. Ken Fuller, is he out there? Take it that as a no.
No.
Pastor Nikki Spicer. Hello, how are you,
My
sir?
name's Nicky Spicer. I'm pastor of the Unity Home, this house of prayer on Huston Street there. And the alleys is I guess an unused alleys on all sides of the property that we own. And the trees are overhanging, big trees, and I got pictures here if you want to see them and it's, you know, if they fall, they're gonna go through the church. And we've had one big limb fall. There was no church at the time, fell in the parking lot. We cut that up, but if it would have been church going on at the time, it would have damaged several cars because it was a big limb. And it broke off. And none of those trees belong to us, none of them, except for the lot, which we've got a man that's supposed to come in this fall and take all them out of that lot, because we're gonna try to fill that in, make a parking lot on that one side there that I showed them. Where's that? Lot 34 here. We're gonna have those trees taken out, but the alleys goes all the way around. And this is the pictures. I'm all the way up to the ramp, and that's the 16-foot side. They hang cleaned over on that side, and this is some pictures of the back of the church. There's limbs overhanging. You want to look at those?
Have you seen?
Are these for us to keep, or you need these back for the record?
You can keep them if you need.
Probably better keep them for the record since they've been presented.
Our survey sheet, I need it back. but
Yeah.
Okay,
you
yeah.
have a copy of it.
Okay, thank you.
Just so we're clear on my end, what are you asking?
We'd like for you to take the trees out.
All of them out?
Yeah, I mean, it's, the whole alleys are woods, and the trees is tall, no matter if, what part of the alley they're in, if they fall that direction, they're gonna do damage, you know.
How's that work on alleys that's not been developed, plotted
Are these
alleys?
trees on the city property?
Yes.
Yes.
They're
Plotted
alleys.
alley. It's not a developed alley, correct?
I think
It's not, no.
the way the ordinance reads is, well, of course, if you're talking about our property, it's one thing, but the city can go onto other people's property if there's imminent danger of harm from a rotten tree or whatever, but I don't know if that's the case here. I don't know specifically.
Well, I mean, the city owns the alleys.
Yeah.
And that's where the woods, that's where, they're not alleys, they're woods.
Is
It's
this
trees.
causing some kind of danger to you?
Yeah, they're,
And they're tilted
Yeah.
towards the church, and these are big cottonwood trees, they're not little trees.
Yeah.
If they fall, they're gonna wipe that church out.
and plus the debris falls, you know, and it's doing damage to the roof, and have to keep the gutters cleaned out from it and all that, which, you know, we do that, but still, it's a constant thing.
I'm not an attorney, but I think they're on our land, and if they pose a danger, whether they fall on a building or parked vehicles, I think we should at least take the limbs back off of any point of danger.
Well, I mean, the ordinances only apply to, that I'm thinking of, apply to the city going on to other people's land to remove a dangerous situation. But I suppose this it doesn't make any difference in this case. It's still the same principle. If our property is causing harm to someone other, then we need to remedy that. But then it's a question of fact whether it is or not. So I suppose someone needs to go out there, street department or somebody, and see if that is the problem. But yeah, at a minimum, you could cut the branches over that are crossing, hanging over onto the property line. But as far as removing the whole tree and everything, on the speculation
Well,
that
some of
it may
that's-
someday fall over, that would be your call to do that.
But these are considered alleys, although they've never been actually constructed as alleys, but they're plotted as alleys, so that would go under the street department.
Yeah.
And
No,
some
I'd
of
be
them are
okay
not
if
just
you-
branches or trees, it's whole trees, it's leaning out like that way. You know, and like I said, there's already been one big branch, it's probably 25 foot long, broke out of that one tree and fell in the parking lot. It was probably 13, 14 inches in diameter. And we just wasn't having church at the time, we come up and it was laying there.
Well, if the trees aren't healthy, I don't know if you have, we don't have a city engineer or anything I don't even know who you would have to go evaluate the situation here
I've got a quick question.
in this city.
If these were plotted as alleys and they've never been used, does eventually it revert back to the property owners?
No,
Still stays within the bounds of the city?
yeah, we have a lawsuit
we
going
make-
on right now about that same subject. No, you just don't lose your right. It was dedicated, I assume these alleys were dedicated at some point in time, probably when the subdivision was platted out. It was dedicated to the city at that time, but no, they're still city property. So it's just a matter of sending someone out there and determining if there's a danger.
Well, my personal view is if there's a tree there that's gonna fall into the church, then it's my opinion that we should have someone from the tree service take a look at it and see what he has to do to make it safe for the church. That's my opinion. And I making a form of a motion is acceptable.
I agree with you, Jim. I don't feel that we should take all the trees out. Mr. Spicer, what's on the east side of this 12-foot wide alley that you're talking about? Is that the hillside?
It's just nothing but more woods and hillside.
Is the hillside right after that 12-foot? The reason why I'm asking that is because
Yeah,
I
in
wasn't
that
more sure
picture,
about the erosion.
you can see right there, it starts going up, right where the little, and then that's from there on back, it's woods. All in behind there, and that's plotted as an alley. And then on the 16-foot side, that's plotted as an alley, and that's the ones overhanging the parking lot and the truck. And I'm, like I said, I'm all the way up to the ramp, and it still, hangs out that far. And the I'm probably at least 20 foot from the back of my truck on over to the edge of the parking lot. So it goes to show you how far the trees are leaning out, over the property, over the parking lot, and not counting the ones in the back that's leaning over the church.
Some of them are dead, some of them's got holes in them, some of them's got sap running out of them. They're
So Jim's,
I don't know what his lightning is going on with.
if I understood Jim right, his motion was have someone professional go up there, deem what is dangerous, whether it be a limb or a tree soon to fall or whatever. And I don't know if you are seconding that or not, but
If that's his motion, then
That is
yes,
my
I'm
motion.
seconding that.
okay.
Because I think it need to be evaluated before
Yeah.
we agree on anything else.
Okay, we have a motion.
And then go ahead and do what the advice of the professional is. Yeah.
Do you want me to go up and check this out and report back to you at the next meeting? You want to see it, make sure the alleys are platted, and make sure that,
I don't have a problem with going ahead and doing it now. I mean, start the process of finding,
checking into it, so we can maintain them, see, there's a lot of facts to find out probably.
yeah, we ought to start that process.
Would be a good idea, I think, as Brad mentioned, to make sure that the city does own this property, because if we don't, we shouldn't expend any funds.
They have it. right,
Survey plot?
There's a survey there.
Survey.
It's got
This-
alley,
This is a copy of an old map that has the same thing. And if you go to the assessor's website and get any of their maps, which I did and I printed them out, those alleys is on there also. So
I know
unless,
they've been wrong from time to
yeah,
time.
well, true. But unless everybody copied off the same thing, but I would think the survey one would be the most accurate.
Yeah, I had that down when I walked through.
I think Jim and Brian already made a motion, but
4 years ago.
I think I would just, even the same thing, you're just doing the due diligence
Okay.
to me, because that could mean several other things with an expert tree guy, so. I used to be a certified arborist, so that part of it I get very well.
yeah.
So you want to be careful on litigation standpoint of who comes in to assess those trees. Because there's one group of people who are a credible witness in the court of law, and there's one group who are not, so. We have to do our due diligence on that, so
So what do we do with the motion then?
we have to kill the motion and then make a new motion. So basically, we have a motion and a second. If you want to favor that motion, signify by saying aye. Any opposed, same sign.
Then we have to say nay to kill it.
Okay, that motion's dead. Now you can create a new motion.
Motion for Brad to review the situation.
I'd just say motion for us to do our due diligence on this and get back with you. Make sure I get your contact information.
Okay.
So, do you have a recommendation to make that motion? Second, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Sorry about that minute detail, but we have to do things
Right.
properly in
I
order.
understand.
So, if we don't have your information, right across the hall, Diana's my secretary, she's in there. Just make sure she gets your information so we can
Okay.
get back with you once we find out what's going on there.
All right. I'm gonna get this survey.
Yep.
I need a copy
We need to
of
make a
that.
copy of that.
Oh, okay.
Let's see if Diana can make a copy of that, or we'll just, you wanna do it now? Okay. I didn't know if you could leave.
I'll do it. Okay.
Thank you, Pastor, we appreciate that.
Okay.
Thank
That
you.
goes,
Are we gonna try to get, Brad, can you get this done before the next meeting?
tree could be potential.
Brad, can you get this done before the next meeting?
I think he was thinking.
Oh, I wasn't sure. Were you thinking?
Okay. Is Carol out there? There she is. Hard when you can't see out there.
All right,
You're fine.
sounds like the place to be.
Well, yeah. Have we run out of chairs in here for?
Yeah. My name's Carol McQueen, and I'm here representing the Haven, which was formerly the Frazee Center at 901 Meyer Avenue. The building is in need of some renovation. Just to be clear, we are not asking for any money. We have some funding secured for this. We are under a lease. I think we have about 15 years left on the lease. So we need approval by the lease to do any renovations or changes to the building. So the first thing that we're asking for is to remove the front window, and I think you have a picture. Remove that front window and change that into an entry door. And there's a picture of the entry door that's proposed there. It is rotting underneath that window.
Do you plan to have any kind of awning or anything over top of your entry door once it's
I never
established?
thought of it.
Because, I mean, the reason why they're indented anyway, so people can get out of the weather before they go in.
Yeah, I hadn't even considered it, but we'll look into it, yes.
Carol, on both
That's your,
sides.
that's your option, I was just,
Yeah, I hadn't even thought about it.
Isn't there doors on both sides?
The entry doors are on both sides, so take these entry doors out. We're gonna be using this and make this into an entry door.
Just a suggestion, but would it be wise to replace an entry door with another entry door instead of cutting a hole? Or is he trying to be able to eliminate this problem with the windows?
Yeah,
too?
eliminate the problem with the windows. Also, we would like to fill these in and enclose these for storage on the inside. There's no storage upstairs for even like the cleaning cart. There's no place to put that upstairs. And with the new programming that we're looking at, we'd like to be able to put the tables and chairs and some sound equipment away so they can be damaged.
Is there an entrance for handicap accessible? Is that a curb that you step up?
That is one thing that we have to look into is getting the cement fixed. Actually, there is no step up there, but the door will be ADA compliant.
I don't think that's level with the parking lot, but I was just
It
thinking.
will be, I'm sorry, if you look on the proposal for the door, it's ADA compliant.
Yeah.
It's from Catron's Glass.
I was just thinking of any rain on your parking lot, whether it go towards that or not. But I think the idea of gaining storage space this is a real easy way to get that extra storage space.
So do you want to do these one by one, or do you want to go through them all? And see if there's objections to anything.
I was sure them all, I have no
Just read them
objections.
all.
Alrighty, and then replace the upstairs windows. Some of them are broken, and the asters are broken, so they don't stay up. So we would like to replace the upstairs windows, replace the ceiling tiles upstairs, lighting upstairs, flooring both upstairs and down, and replace the fixtures in the upstairs bathroom. Now, we do want to put in a commercial kitchen for the community use, but I'm not ready to present that. I don't have everything that I need, so we'll probably do that next meeting.
Any other questions?
Make a motion to approve Carol's request.
A second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion
Thank you very
carried.
much. We'll
Thank
be
you.
back to talk about the kitchen.
Thank you.
Might as well just stay there. You're up next.
I think, Carol, it's probably minor, but on this door, if that's drawn the way it's going to be installed, you're up on top of the hill. When you open that, the wind's going to catch it. You open it the other way.
Well, yeah, okay. Okay, are you ready for the next one?
Yep, you're up.
All right. Also, for the Drug Coalition, we are asking to do a drive-through drug take-back on October 23rd from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. We'd like to do this in the parking lot behind the building. We've done that before. That was actually the most successful take-back that we have as a drive-through. So we would like permission to do that again. It'd be on a Saturday so it shouldn't interfere with any parking.
I think it's a good service.
So do I. I make a
People
motion
like
to
that.
approve Carol's request.
I'll second.
Motion and a second, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried, thank you very much.
I promised them this would take an hour, so I have to stay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Julie, see you out there? Come on in.
Hello.
Hello.
I have two different items to talk to you about today. The first one is, it's that time of year again for the IPEP to have their grant applications open.
Sorry, you're on the Wi-Fi first.
Am I doing Wi-Fi first? I'm
Yep.
sorry. Ben is here if you have any questions concerning the Wi-Fi. I guess I have 3 items on the agenda. Sorry about that. I lost count. On the Wi-Fi quotes, we had requested 3 different vendors to give us a quote, and it actually looked for other people to give us a quote as well. And basically what happened was we had one come back and tell us they was not interested because the project was too small. We had another one come back and tell us that they couldn't get the parts for the equipment that they needed, and so they were no longer interested in bidding on the project. And then we had Hillfi give us a quote. So what we did is we asked Okra to go ahead and approve the fact that we did our job as far as our responsibility of trying to get the 3 quotes. And they went ahead and approved that pending Board of Works approval. So, and if you have any technical questions, please direct those to Ben, because I couldn't tell you how it's all going to work.
Any other questions?
Just all I have, probably for Ben, the equipment that, we end up owning the equipment, right?
Yes,
We
sir.
own the equipment then?
Yes, sir.
And you will service it for a year at a time, depending on,
Correct.
Yeah.
So what the 3 bids are separated into the downtown area, the park area, and then an optional contract for us to manage and support the Wi-Fi network's renewable annually. So we'll cover the cost with that optional contract of all labor and equipment costs related to any repairs, as well as day-to-day management of the network, enforcing any terms of service that you guys want for any guests using the Wi-Fi.
first year is included, right?
In the grant,
In the
yes.
grant.
In the grant,
yes. Mhm.
yeah.
Yep, and then as I understand, that's as far as the grant was willing
Right.
to cover.
Right. So the other 2 years would have to be covered separately with general funds or whatever.
And we have priority, is it downtown first, and park, what's the third location?
It's only the 2 locations,
Oh,
it's
okay.
this downtown area and the park. Pending your approval, we were wanting to do downtown first. It's a smaller build-out for us, and we can get it up and running much quicker. Park, there's just more equipment to put in, but we were gonna move from here then to the park.
Ben, I have a question on AP3 at the City Hall. Seemed like there was a lot of overlapping coverage between AP2, AP3, and AP4. Is there a way that we can move from AP3 and maybe move it over towards where that coverage, what I'm looking at right here? To be able to move the coverage right here?
We could, let's see, so reducing some of the overlap off of City Hall and trying to migrate that towards, I believe that's the senior center parking area. What we would probably want to do there, we could put a second on the courthouse and hit the extreme west and extreme east part of the courthouse. That would move that coverage into that parking lot. The only reason that we had duplicated access points on City Hall, if we cheat AP4 to that southwest corner to help cover the courthouse parking lot, it's going to create a zone in which the City Hall parking lot is not going to have great coverage. We can try to mitigate that by moving AP2 further east and trying to cover it from that way. So we can definitely play with the equipment, nothing's set in stone. But based on the parameters that Michael gave me, this is what we came up with. We're flexible. The system can be added to. There's nothing really prohibiting us even needing to add another location down the road, so.
And probably chose the locations because they are city-owned.
Correct,
or
city and county.
government-owned
Correct,
properties.
correct, so we already have the power and everything available to us at those locations.
Correct.
Any other questions for Ben?
Motion to approve the request.
Second.
Have a motion second, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. You're busy.
Excellent, equipment's on hand, we're ready to go. We'll try not to make too much noise during your meeting, we might go up on the roof.
So it's ready tomorrow?
Thanks, Ben.
What's that?
It's ready tomorrow?
We'll be building it tomorrow, it won't be ready.
I won't go ahead and skip mine. I'll let you finish, then I'll come back with my proclamation. So go ahead and talk about the IPEP safety grant, please.
It is time for us to submit a grant application for the IPEP safety grant. What that is the Indiana Public Employers Plan. They offer a grant that can cover some safety items. It's been a few months ago at a department heads meeting, it had been brought up that there were some departments that were needing AEDs to be kept on hand. And so what we're doing is submitting a grant application that is covering the department's needs for that. We would be asking for a total of 5 of those, 1 for Connersville Police Department, 2 for the Parks Department, 1 for Connersville Utilities, and 1 for the transfer station. That would bring it a total cost of $9,988.36. The grant would cover 80% of that. So I just need permission from you today to apply for that.
One of the other things we're talking about doing is, we talked about this in our department meetings about AED devices, and we didn't want a bunch of devices that didn't fit or match. So what Clint has done, Clint, he's out there, I'm sure. Clint, you out there, sir? Hope you didn't fall. You dropped your phone, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Clint did all our research, but you can explain it better than me on the different devices, on how you can, it's the pads and all that. I don't understand all that, but yeah, come on up here. Explain what you did, and we're kind of making everything standard so everything's interchangeable.
So after, pardon me. So after we'd had that conversation in the department head meetings, I had reached out to my sales rep from Stryker Physio, which is who we have. That's also the brand that the fire department has, so that we're all interchangeable. The pads are the expensive part as far as the ongoing maintenance. They can be about $30 to $50 per set, and they expire every 2 years or so. So if they're not getting used, they're going to expire. In this case, if we're starting to get down to 6 months before something expires, we can swap out with them. We're going to use them. Chances are, God willing, that they won't be used at the transfer station or the parks department. So it also makes it nice to where if they use their AED, we come up, we can unplug from their unit and plug the pads right back into our unit. So there's not this taking pads off, because they're all proprietary, they're all individual, they don't have the same connections. So if we have all the same system, it's plug and play. It makes it a lot easier, a lot more cost effective, and frankly saves some time. So that's the reason that we went with the Physio product. And they are the workhorse, in my opinion, of AEDs. You can get, there's lots of different brands, but Physio's been around a long time, and they're dependable, and they're rugged, they're robust. That's what they're made for.
So you're saying AED or ADD?
AED.
Okay.
Automatic external defibrillator, or automated
I'm familiar with
external
those.
defibrillator.
Yeah.
Yes.
It only makes sense that we use the same ones, especially between you guys and the fire department and everybody, that
Yeah.
they don't have to switch out the complete unit. They can leave the pads on, just plug in and go. Same thing here. And when our pads are set to expire, we don't really have to buy new ones. We switch them out, you use them, and it only makes sense to me.
You'll have a database keeping track of all the expiration dates?
We'll get something in place, yes.
Thanks, Clint. Thanks for your help, too. Any other questions on that?
So then who is responsible to make sure these things are checked or working order or monthly inspection or whatever you do?
We have to establish that.
Okay.
Clint, we'll figure that one out.
Yeah, well, we'll have to figure that out. I mean, as far as it could be a monthly check as far as whoever works there, you open the door, okay, yes, all the parts are here, and once a year I come around and do a little bit better job of looking at the things I'm going to look at.
Got some training to do.
Okay.
Make a motion to accept Julie's request.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Thank you very much. And the last one.
All
Cory.
right. All right, the last item that I had was to provide you with a lot of overload of information, and then to request something small. But the Office of Community and Rural Affairs is offering a grant program to assist communities with the creation and the implementation of a plan for the ARPA funds that the city was allocated. And since they recognize the need for strategic planning when it comes to these funds, they're now offering a few communities the chance to partner with their office and several different universities to develop a strategic implementation plan. The total time that they're looking at to spend getting community feedback, developing committees and things to that nature is 52 weeks. The carrot at the end of the stick is if a community participates in the program for the full 52 weeks, then they will match dollar for dollar whatever you identify in your strategic implementation plan, the projects that you're going to do, then they will provide a 50% match, up to $1 million. The requirements to participate in the plan is that you have to restrict 30% of the ARPA funds to be utilized for projects that are identified in the strategic implementation plan. And you have to establish a community coordinator position, which the community is required to commit up to $20,000 for that. This particular grant application, the county is willing to go in as partners on this. They will actually be the lead applicant. So that $20,000 would be split between the city and the county, so it'd be $10,000 apiece. This community coordinator, the only thing that they will be doing is focusing on the implementation and the creation of the strategic implementation plan. They would be the one that would be coordinating your core committee members, coordinating with the state. They would be attending all of the training when it comes to like the ARPA funds, which I could see being a benefit when it comes to reporting requirements and such, since sometimes communication is not really clear when it comes to those requirements. So with us at this point in time, I am going to be going to County Council tonight to be requesting that they pass a resolution that will do basically the same thing. What I need from Board of Works is I need your commitment that contingent upon grant funds being awarded, that you would establish that community coordinator position. But it would be contingent upon us receiving the grant funds.
And at this time, I say it that way specifically because we don't have a final ruling yet on the ARPA funds, which is an ever-changing animal. It's impossible to keep up with. At this time, they have stated we can use ARPA funds to fund our match on this.
Yes.
So it's not going to come out of general. So we can use ARPA funds to fund this person for the 52 weeks. So it's not going to come out of the general. The reason I don't say that with confidence because we don't have a final ruling yet. They're putting a lot of things. They're wanting resolutions created and established, and we've been sitting back just watching, which I think is a better position because there's people who's already out there spending their money. And you have to have resolutions dictating how you're going to spend it, but no one knows what that final ruling looks like. So we're not doing anything until I see a final ruling from my point of view. This is a position that will solely focus on that. And I've sat through, I can't tell you how many countless hours with Baker Tilly, with all these guys who were focused on ARPA and the legal side of it, and they've actually kind of stopped because we're kind of waiting on that final ruling. We've had hours and hours and them trying to decipher what's going on. They get it figured out and then they change it. So it seems to me the final ruling's kind of been I haven't heard anything in a while, so I'm kind of wondering either they're going to make a big change last minute or they're going to push that final ruling through as is, which I don't see happening, but I don't see a major change in that. Because I think they're getting a lot of pushback, is my guess. So, to me, this is a good thing, even if they don't do it out of the ARPA funds, for the planning side, the staging side, to know what we can, what we can't do with all the allocation of uses and the reporting side, and it's going to be a giant mountain that one person's gonna have to uncover. And if we're gonna use ARPA funds effectively so that we don't get federal auditors coming here saying, we did it all wrong, we owe the money back, that's a good use of money, in my opinion.
So this community
Coordinator.
coordinator position, is that the person from the university you're talking about?
No, this person will be hired by the core team members. There's going to be 7 of those that will be established by people that is picked by the city and the county on this committee. And then they will kind of oversee that process. We do not have anybody at this point in time identified to fill that position because we want to wait until we know whether we're selected as a
So
as
they
a grant.
become a full-time employee or?
It would be part-time,
Part-time, funded by both county and city?
yes. It would be similar to what community development is set up like.
It's really gonna be run actually right in partnership with what Joe Lisa does.
And is
anyway.
this for only for the length of the?
The 52
Right.
weeks, yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So when they said full-time hiring, that's not what that meant.
It's not a full-time position, it's gonna be a full-time position, but it's not, it's 52 weeks.
Okay.
You know, it's not going out, we're not extending benefits, we're not extending anything out, this is for this allocation. We might like it at the end, which is basically, what this position is what, what's his name, Rush was doing, Sheehan? That's really what he does.
Brian.
Very effective, so if we find a person that's effective in doing what we're doing, maybe we find a way we wanna keep them on, I don't know the answer to that. But this is for the 52 weeks.
So did I hear you say not full-time and you said full-time?
What it was talking about there is all of their time, that 30 hours is what they're shooting for. But all of that time is to be spent on nothing
I
but
see.
this.
Okay.
So they can't be doing other duties while they're hired in this position.
Some,
They can't be a subcontractor, but a
Or a
full-time
1099, they
position means we're gonna keep them until they retire or quit. This is for 52 weeks. It's gonna be 30 hours, 30, 35 hours a week, I forget what it was, 30 hours a week. But it's not full-time.
some
past
looking
that.
at
Right.
benefits and so forth.
Correct.
Is that not included or?
No
is?
benefits included.
Because I was looking at the part where it said subsequently 40,000 in the subsequent.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You can choose to do more, but that was what they asked for us to do.
Yeah, if it's a limited time, I'm in favor of it, but not if you're hiring somebody with full benefits and so forth.
No,
Yeah.
no. So all I need is permission to approve the position contingent we
Get the grant.
approval for the grant.
I'll make that motion.
Have a motion?
Second?
And a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna get where I do it. There it is. Okay, I'm gonna make my proclamation here. I'll try to read slow because I tend to read fast, so hopefully I can keep up with you. Whereas the need for highly litterized citizenry increases as Connersville, Fayette County moves forward an increasingly technology future, and whereas more than 17.9% of Fayette County's adults experience literacy issues that impact severely on their lives and families, secure and maintain gainful employment, and their full participation as citizens and residents of our Fayette County, and whereas the Whitewater Adult Education Program that serves adult learners in Fayette, Rush, and Union counties assisted 113 students during the 2020-21 grant year. Of that number, 91 were in their Adult Basic Education, ABE, and 22 were in their English Language Learner, ELL programs. For the ABE students, nearly 77% of the students had a measurable skills gain improvement of reading, math, and language arts abilities, and 42 received their HSE diploma. Additionally, 24 students completed and received certifications in one of the following integrated educational and training IET programs of entry-level welding, customer service and sales, paraprofessional, or QuickBooks. And whereas the Whitewater Adult Education Programs working with Ivy Tech, Fayette County School Corporation, Union County School Corporation, Rush County School Corporation, Work One, Manpower, the Economic Development Group, the Fayette County Chamber of Commerce, and the Workforce Development Board of Fayette County in inviting the communities of the Whitewater area to join in highlighting the economic and societal importance of literacy. Now therefore, I, Chad Frank, Mayor of Connersville, do hereby proclaim September 19th through the 25th, 2021 as National Adult Education and Literacy Week in the city of Connersville and present this certificate to Whitewater Adult Education Coordinator Amy Engel and her staff and urge my fellow citizens to learn more about the importance of literacy and to promote literacy in their communities. I don't know if Amy was out there yet or not. She might come to the office later. Okay, moving on. Item L, we're going to skip K. Approval of proposal of capital asset inventory tracking. Rosemary?
Per State Board of Accounts, we're going to have to start doing a capital asset inventory every 2 weeks, 2 years, sorry. We did one last year, and the company that came in and did it, I don't think they did a very good job in showing us how to, maintain it in the next steps. So this gentleman here is helping multiple communities to get to where we need to be with State Board of Accounts. So I would like to hire him to take care of our capital assets.
Questions?
Motion to approve Rosemary's request.
Have a motion? Have a second?
Second.
Have a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Okay, before you have resolution 2021-40, it is the 2022, too many numbers here, holiday schedule. Any questions on that?
You need a motion to approve?
Yes, sir.
So moved.
Have a motion
Second.
and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Thank you very much. Okay, and we have two transfers, one for the police and one for fire. Resolution 2021-41 and -42. Rosemary?
Resolution 2021-41 is a resolution to transfer $20,000 from other employees to overtime in the police budget. Resolution 2021-42 is a resolution to transfer $10,000 from specialty pay into overtime within the fire budget.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you very much. Mr. Coulter, Utilities Director on Department Matters.
On the agenda was approval of a trash collection, and it was for 1902 Virginia. And I also have another one, if you'll let me add it, that came in the last few days.
This one left over from another meeting, because I recognize that address.
No. New tenant moved in.
Oh,
Anytime you transfer back into owner's name, has to go back and
Oh, okay.
change names.
all right.
I also have another one at 213 West 8th Street. It's a 2-unit dwelling. They want to add another one.
You say it was 213 what?
West 8th Street, the old barber shop.
This
There.
apartment behind the barber shop.
Were they not already getting that? I mean, it's
They
a
were.
two-dwelling.
They were, and they moved out, and then, so they took it back, and so then now somebody else moved
Oh,
back
okay.
in it and need it back.
Okay.
I move that we approve both addresses for garbage pickup.
A motion is second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you. Okay, now the department reports. Chief Jones.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
All right, we'll start off with the overtime. Overtime for August was just under 1,500. The best month we've seen so far this year. We'll enjoy that while it lasts because we're going to see a little increase, I think, the next month. We've had several guys sick, plus I'm short the guy on C shift till we get the new hire in here, so. Any questions on the overtime? All right, we'll move on to the run report. Had 191 runs in August. EMS runs were up. They've been up the last several months. A lot of sickness going around, a lot of difficulty breathings, so runs are up a little bit right now. Any question on the run report? Move on to the training for the month of August. That printed out a little bit different than it normally did, and I didn't catch it till after you had already gotten your report. So and then the bottom section, for some reason, didn't include the hours, but there was 40+ hours of training for the month of August, and you can see all the different trainings that the guys did. And then last, you can see a list of the inspections that were performed in August. Any question on
The
that?
latter part of your training, they don't have any numbers.
Right, and they are in there, but for some reason, the bottom part didn't print the numbers for the class, because I went back and looked, and they're all in there, but it must have been an error in the reporting, so. Most of those are probably 1 hour, I think. I went back and looked, but I'll have to make sure that that's in there the next month. For some reason, those didn't print out right. Any question over the report? Second, I would like to ask permission to put on a process for hiring over the next 2 years to create a new pool for hiring. We usually put on an agility test for physical agility, and then we have a written test, and basically I'm just asking for permission to open up and take applications, and then the committee will meet after, if you pass both of those stages, the committee will get together and do oral interviews, and then we come up with a list, probably about the top 5 prospects. Mr. Barrett sits on that committee. He was on that committee, or on that interview process last time. I think we got a handful of good hires out of that last group, so I don't have anybody or anyone definitely going to retire over the next 2 years, but that doesn't mean that they won't, like we just had one. So I have a lot of guys that can retire, but nobody's scheduled to, but I'd like to start another process for the next 2 years and get another group of people ready in case we need to hire somebody.
I think it's a good idea. You've got this done, and, if somebody decides on the spur of the moment that they're going to retire, then you don't have to go through this process and draw it out. So I think it's a very good idea, Scott.
I'd agree.
I'll make a motion to accept Chief Jones' request.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Thank you, sir.
One other thing, I did fax up the paperwork for the new hire, and I should be able to bring that to you guys sometime next month. It takes proof somewhere around 30 days to get that approved, so.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Scott. Mr. Coulter.
First, I'll give you the transfer station report. Trash trucks picked up 465 tons of trash. 316 tons were brought to the transfer station for a total of 781 tons. That's a lot of trash. On the street department report, you can tell me if you got any questions, but the street sweeper's been out all month and picked up 45 tons of debris. That's a lot. Keeping that stuff out of the storm sewers. We mowed 16 properties in August. They worked on getting the garage tore down. I don't think they finished it till September, but for Nick. And we picked up 2 tons of large items and almost 3 tons of yard waste during the month of August, so they've been out busy.
You might want to, I don't know if you're over this part, I assume you are, milestone when they go back on Wells property on Park Road and dump. They bring mud back out with them, out on the road, so.
We had a conversation about that last week because that is our MS4
Yep.
responsibility to try to keep that from happening, and their project manager said that she would discuss that. Also, on the utilities report, one thing I wanted to tell you about, that water report's got a lot of red ink on it. But if you look at the deficit for the year, it's only about $9,000 total, which ain't too bad. And again, I've told you before, but I just want you to keep in mind, in the early part of the year, we were sticking about $25,000 a month in depreciation. We've cut that down now to $8,000 or $10,000. But if you add up all that money, you add up the money that we don't include in revenue that makes the bond payments, water's in pretty good shape. But because of that red ink, the way this looks, I just wanted to touch base with you every now and then to make sure you know it's doing okay.
Appreciate that.
I think I wanted to tell you we got a shred day on the second Saturday in October. They've confirmed October 9th. And I did not write down the hours, but I'm assuming that will be during our regular hours from like 8 to 11:30 in the morning. But I'll get it out there on Facebook and in the newspaper here in the next short time. And I think that's all I was going to tell you about.
Saturday's not a full day anymore?
At the transfer station, no. At the compost site, it is. We've been working on it, but it's just a little problematic to get help on Saturday afternoon. So those part-time employees don't want to work all day Saturday. Thank you.
Thank you, Fred.
Thank you.
Chief Phillips.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Right, so you got a copy of my numbers here as far as overtime. Is there any questions on overtime? If none on that, then we'll go to our calls. August, we had 1,224 calls. We had 121 arrests, 31 drug-related arrests or calls, and 15 calls or arrests for possession of paraphernalia. Our training hours, we had 112 training hours last month, various police-related trainings with our RT team and CRT teams. I'd like to just remind you that we have one of our officers going to K-9 school at the end of this month for 6 weeks, Vaughn Lake in Kokomo. He has to report there on the 27th, I think. We've also been partnering with our ordinance enforcer. We've had 3 blitzes. Well, we've had 3 scheduled. We have one coming up on the 28th. And it seems to be pretty effective, where we partner with one of our uniformed officers on that particular day to hit 3 different districts in our community. And it seems to be working out okay. Nick will be able to tell you more about numbers as far as that goes, but we just want to remind the public we got one more blitz coming on the 28th of this month. And also a reminder that we have our testing process this Saturday. Our PT test for candidates and our written test will be Saturday, and then probably next week or so we'll do the interviews. So is there any questions on any of that?
Did you get a lot of applications?
We got several. I mean, within this past 6 months or so, we've been taking them in. I'd say we probably have about 20 of them, I'd say, applications. So.
Good. Okay, Mr. Brown.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
Good.
I got a copy of my
running spreadsheet here. So the blitz, like you talked about last Monday, got 29 cars and 6 properties in 2 hours, so. Other than that, grass is slowing down, so not too many properties to mow right now.
Any questions for Nick?
No, keep a good way.
Thank you.
I have seen some improvement, and I want to thank the department and you, especially grass.
Yeah, it was a big challenge early on, but
Yes, it was. And in being more vocal about it and doing the blitzes and just having Nick out there every day, it's created a firestorm of phone calls, so his voicemail is constantly full.
yeah,
And
always.
he's very busy. Again, it's the documenting side is one side, it's the follow-up that takes a lot of time. So he's constantly having to go back, and he's doing a great job. There's a lot here already, so.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
John?
Hello.
Bye.
Well, we got 8 hours, 55 minutes of media production, 15 hours, 2 minutes of original production. The big news of today is we finally got Comcast back on the air. So we've been working on that for about a week. I know a lot of people had called me and told me, I'm like, yes, I know, we're working on it really hard. But we don't know what happened really. But we were using old modulator equipment, which is really quite out of date. It's out of date 10 years ago. So we've been able to switch that over. Everything is looking pretty good right now. I still have a little bit of video roll and I can't narrow that down, but I'm going to keep working on it until I fix it. So anyways, it's
What
looking
that
much
does
better.
show is people are watching.
Oh, yeah, they let me know. So they actually help. When they call in, they help me figure out exactly where the problem lies, so that's helpful. So I do appreciate that. Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Chief Harden?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I managed to get up without throwing my phone across the hallway out there this time. So, you should have a copy of my report. We had a total of 393 calls for the month of August, which is still just statistically higher than what we typically run. Any month that we're close to that 400 mark, that's busy, and we have been extremely busy. August participated in the Reed Health Connersville Hazards Vulnerability Assessment. It included Reed's security, their plant operations, their emergency preparedness people, all the emergency services from City of Connersville, EMA, and it just looks at the threats that could affect Reed Health Connersville, either natural or man-made. So we did participate in that. It was kind of an interesting experience. Did have coverage at the fair for 7 nights. We had a total of 151 man-hours of coverage for special events and from up above, and we had 4 patient transports during that week from the fairgrounds. Have some landscaping cleaned up around the front of the building. I'm still waiting on actually getting the flagpole ordered. We do not have a lead time on that before we finalize the landscaping. And the 15th of this month, we did have the new protocol rollout and went very smoothly. I've not heard any bumps with that so far, so we kind of still doing some revisions as we go along, but has rolled out fairly smoothly. Anybody have any questions?
Quick question, how are you coming on getting new applications for paramedics?
I don't have any applications right now. We did just hire one with your approval at the last meeting. He has started. Right now, all my spots are filled, even though it's I should have more, it should be an equal ratio. I should have 50% medics, 50% EMTs. I do not. That's just gonna have to be over a long period of time. I mean, we didn't get short overnight. We're not gonna fix it overnight. I do have one who will be graduating paramedic school in December, and I hope to have another one probably starting next year sometime. The problem is that the number of schools that offer this has decreased, so the competition is really fierce to get in. And they only usually start once a year, and that's usually in the August, usually start sometime back in the summer for an August, September start date. So we don't have any money starting this year, but I'm hoping to have at least one start next year. So,
Thank you.
Do you think your transport last couple months have been lower because of how busy you are?
As far as the transfers?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been because of our staffing. We just have not had the staffing to pull trucks out of the county. That has been one big factor, and another one is we have been so busy on 911. There was it last week or the week before, I was in the office and was out 3 times during that week when we had all trucks on the road. It was just that. And it doesn't make any sense because you'll have hours where nothing happens, and then within 30 minutes you get 4 or 5 calls in a row, and you're just scrambling to keep up. Why, I don't know. It's always that way. It's just been more extreme here lately, but we've been very busy on the 911 side. So. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Sure.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, Kathy.
Have lots of events coming up at the park. You guys should have gotten some email invitations, and I hope you guys can join us for everything we have coming up. This Thursday, we are celebrating at 2nd Street. It's a park party. We are just raising awareness about what's going on at the park, trying to get that neighborhood involved, get the community involved, and share the designs for what the park will be. So that is Thursday the 23rd. It starts at 5. Next week, Tuesday the 28th, also at 5, we are going to have the official ribbon cutting for the disc golf course. I know people have been out playing, but we've never cut a ribbon. And we are inviting all our disc hole sponsors to come. And then following the ribbon cutting, we're going to have a fun tourney. So if you want to play or learn how to play, give us a call. We'll get you put on a team. It should be fun. And then we'll have our local disc golf team will be there, and they'll be doing some demonstrations on how to throw and things like that. So it should be a good time. And then in October, just to get it on your calendar, on the 9th, we will be having our annual vaccination clinic. We partner with the Connersville Veterinarian Clinic. They'll be giving rabies, parvo, and distemper for $25. So that's October 9th from 11 to 2. And we will not be having a Halloween party this year at the park, but we will continue the Jack-o'-lantern jaunt, which we did last year, where we partner with the school system and we have the jack-o'-lanterns up and down the Nickel Plate Trail. That's going to be on October the 14th. So lots of things coming up. We hope to see you there. Oh, and then also Saturday, this coming Saturday, is our last movie in the park. So it's free. This one's at Industrial Park because our sponsor is Howden. And it will be Goonies. So getting ready for Halloween time.
When you say Industrial Park, you're talking about the ball diamonds over on Mount Street?
Yes, and I believe Howden will also open up their lot for additional parking. I do ask that people don't park like at Powder Mill or anywhere like that. So you can just park at Howden and then walk a little ways to the park. I do have a couple requests. One, I just got the written estimate from American Owned. We have 6 trees at Offutt's Park that need to come down, including, I think it was 2 that need dead limbs cut out. 1 is growing over a resident's garage that will also be taken care of.
And then we have 8 more trees at Roberts that need to come down. So that, in addition to what we took down last year, we should be pretty well set on the dead tree situation. But that is $7,800, and I just needed approval for that.
So moved.
Second?
Have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Thank you very much. Motion carried.
The other thing I need to request permission to do is I was sent a grant opportunity for the Longwood Bridge. It's through the DNR's Historic Preservation Fund. It will fund $50,000 with a dollar-for-dollar match. So since I do have my bridge, a person who wants to fund the bridge, that would be my match money. So I have that in hand. The application is due the 8th, and I've already talked with Jaleesa about it. So if we get that, we would be in really good shape.
Well, are you beyond halfway there? Thinking about 250,000 was your goal, right?
Yeah, we have like 140
You just need our permission
to apply.
So
I'd like to make that a motion.
Second. Motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you.
I did want to give you a quick update on the fountain. Cross your fingers, but we turned it on this morning and it was not leaking. So we're hoping that the repair we did last week works and that fixes the fountain. So it's on. And then I just wanted to update you also on the pool. We did have the leak detection agency out last week. He was scheduled to be there for 2 days, and he actually only stayed about 4 hours because that quickly he could determine his best recommendation is that it is the pool liner. So that estimate was running like $95,000 to replace the liner. Then we found out that we don't have a normal pool liner. Our liner is retrofitted into the pool, so it's basically installed in between 2 pieces of steel all the way around the pool. So I've been in contact with Natari, which is the company that put the pool in, and the liner, because evidently they did not remember that our liner was installed that way. Have not heard back from them yet. Obviously, that's going to affect their $95,000 bid. There's one other company that does liners, so hopefully by the next meeting I'll be able to come back with a couple of quotes and a plan for how we could pay for that repair, but just wanted to give you an update. The good news is it's not the plumbing underneath the pool. So, and then one other thing that we have going on at the park is our memorial tree program. I was actually contacted by the agricultural business class out at the high school, and they were going to come out and do QR codes and put them on every tree stand that we have. So since they were doing that, we got together with the teacher, and now we've expanded the project. So the students came out last week and they got in groups and they mapped all of Roberts Park. And so we're going to now have a map of where every memorial tree is located. So in addition to that and the QR code, say you donated a tree 5 years ago and you now live in Arizona, you can get on this map and see your tree. So it's going to be really awesome when it's done. The other thing they did was they gave me a status. They're going to give me a spreadsheet with a status of every tree. So if your tree's dead and we haven't replaced it, then I'll know and we can do that. It's just something that has been on my mind that I have never had time to get done, and I was very excited to have this class come and help.
Sure.
So a big thank you to Mrs. Harmeyer and the agricultural business class.
Good deal.
Catherine, if somebody's wanting to donate another tree, is there a procedure to go through?
Yeah, we
contact
have
you?
forms at the park. We're actually full at Roberts Park. We sold a lot of trees last year. We can put some at Office or out at Frazee Park right now. But we have also started a waiting list for Roberts Park, but we're not planting any more at Roberts at this time, just because we don't want to get everything too close together or too close to facilities or things like that, so. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to old business, is there any old business? About miscellaneous business? Claims, Rosemary?
Utility claims was $637,720.90. City claims was $91,632.19. Payroll was $433,365.55.
Motion to approve the claims?
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Anybody from the public out there? I not see. If not, we will take a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Motion second, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried.